Banished from Earth Classic Game Room broadcasts from the Intergalactic Space Arcade on its never-ending mission to review everything. Welcome to an exciting classic game room where I bring to you the review of the big yellow guy over my shoulder. It's Pac-Man, the original arcade game from 1980. Now there's a reason I'm playing this music during much of the footage of Pac-Man, because usually when I play Pac-Man I've got a beer in one hand, the joystick in the other, and Van Halen blasting at full volume on the stereo. And since I don't have the rights to play Van Halen legally, I'll just tell you to imagine the atomic punk and I'm on fire screaming in the background. Nothing goes better with Pac-Man than Van Halen and a good cold beer. It's one of the greatest, most famous games ever created, Namco and Midway's original 1980 Pac-Man, the arcade machine. What's Jamie got to be crying about when Pac-Man is so damn good? As you know, I collect arcade machines. Pac-Man has been in my top 5 for a while, and while I prefer Ms. Pac-Man, a Pac-Man came along on Craigslist and I just had to pick it up. It's in great shape, it plays well, and what arcade is complete without Pac-Man? That would be like having a pizza shop that doesn't sell pizza. And what's the deal? Pac-Man was inspired by a pizza pie with a slice taken out of it. It makes me love him all the more, because I love pizza. Here's what the game sounds like when Van Halen isn't playing at 11 in the background. And everyone knows what Pac-Man sounds like. He's still famous today, more than 30 years after his initial appearance in the arcades. And with the exception of maybe Mario, no other video game character is as iconic or well-known as Pac-Man. If you remember the 80s, you remember that Pac-Man took the world by storm. He had his own cartoon show. I think he had his own breakfast cereal, t-shirts. There was a Pac-Man record that you could buy. Every human on Earth was disappointed with Pac-Man on the Atari 2600. And he even makes a guest appearance in Tron. But if you haven't played it for a while, is Pac-Man just nostalgia, or is it a great game? It's a great game, obviously, and one of the most challenging from the era. It's far more difficult and less rewarding than the unofficial sequel, Ms. Pac-Man. For starters, you only get one maze. And you don't score a lot of points by completing that maze. It's eating the ghosts that gives you big points in the long run. Something that's extremely hard to do after level 3. I, for one, like the simple control scheme, which works best on the original arcade machine because you want a 4-way joystick, preferably to play Pac-Man. Up, down, left, right, that's all you need, no buttons except to start the game. And I'm pretty sure I went right through that ghost earlier. That happens from time to time, it's kinda weird. Now, as you may know, you score big points for eating all 4 ghosts. 1,600 points. If you can get the last one, just don't screw it up like I did there. I'm by no means a Pac-Man master, but I love the game, I love getting into Pac-Man fever. And the only cure for Pac-Man fever is more Pac-Man, or maybe Missile Command. That's good too. Although Missile Command makes Pac-Man look downright easy. That was my Alex Van Halen drum solo there, did you see it? Pretty good, huh? So, while you can get Pac-Man on just about every single game system and handheld mobile device these days, is the arcade machine worth it? That depends on how much you're willing to spend. You can get Pac-Man in a multicade, but it may not feel right with the joystick. You can also get this on PlayStation 3 or Xbox or whatever, but to capture the real arcade feel, you'll want a Pac-Man arcade machine. However, it's in demand, they can be overpriced. I love the cabinet and the artwork. It's bright yellow. Everybody notices Pac-Man the moment they walk into the space arcade, and then they go play Asteroids because, for some reason, everybody loves Asteroids. Well, it's the black and white monitor. Also, it's a great game, and you don't see it that often. Pac-Man is everywhere, and it should be. It deserves it. My man's been busy since 1980 gobbling dots and eating ghosts. In order to celebrate 1980s Pac-Man, I think it's only fair I go with 1980s Van Halen, Women and Children first, because everybody wants some Pac-Man. That's not what's on that record, but it'll do for these purposes. Here's a look at the outside of the Pac-Man arcade machine, which looks pretty good for being more than 3 decades old. It's certainly withstood the test of time better than me. It's one of the all-time great arcade classics, good for kids, adults, everybody of any skill level can enjoy Pac-Man, but you've got to be really good to get a serious high score. It's the original, and don't forget to enjoy Ms. Pac-Man, Baby Pac-Man, Super Pac-Man, and Pac-Man vs. Godzilla Deathmatch 7 on the Vectrex. You see, now this is the problem with vinyl. I need to flip the record, and I can't.